Welcome to Empowered Inspiration. I like to write inspirational stories to uplift and motivate you. In today's video, I have something special for you. I've handpicked 4 of my most underrated stories that I believe are hidden gems. These stories have the power to touch your heart, inspire you, and give you the courage to chase your dreams. These are great stories that deserve to be heard. So without further ado, let's dive into these amazing tales and see what lessons we can learn from them. And thank you so much for supporting my channel. Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a young girl named Rosalind. Rosalind was a shy and timid girl who struggled with low self-esteem and confidence. She often felt invisible and afraid to draw attention to herself, which made her feel lonely and isolated. One day, while taking a walk in the forest, Rosalind stumbled upon a hidden garden filled with beautiful flowers. Every flower in the garden had a plaque describing a special quality that it represented, such as passion, kindness, or luck. As Rosalind wandered through the garden, she was drawn to the beautiful red roses. The plaque said they represented bravery. Rosalind picked a red rose and held it close to her heart. As she did, an incredible feeling of bravery flowed through her body. She was amazed and empowered by how she felt and returned home feeling braver than ever before. The next day, Rosalind visited the garden again. This time, she picked a yellow daffodil that represented optimism. She recited the word over and over again, and soon she started seeing the world in a more positive light. She was no longer afraid of everything, and she couldn't stop smiling. The day after that, Rosalind picked a bluebell that represented creativity. She spent the day drawing and painting, expressing herself in ways she never thought possible. She felt proud of her creations, and her confidence grew. In the coming days, Rosalind visited the magical garden 3 more times, picking a white lily that represented grace, a pink peony that represented love, and a purple iris that represented wisdom. Each time, she gained the quality represented by that flower. She now walked with elegance, never feeling awkward again. She appreciated and hugged her parents more often and began understanding new things, never feeling scared to speak up again. From that day on, Rosalind continued to visit the magic garden, picking different flowers and reciting the qualities they represented. She gained the confidence to pursue her dreams and make a difference in the world. And whenever she felt unsure or afraid, she would hold a flower close to her heart and remember the magic of the garden. The moral of this story is that confidence and self-esteem can be nurtured and developed through positive affirmations and self-reflection. Just as Rosalind gained the confidence and grew as a person by reciting the qualities represented by each flower, we too can cultivate our own inner strengths and overcome our insecurities. With determination and belief in ourselves, we can achieve our goals and make a difference in the world. John and Alex worked at a busy pet store. John was a new employee, but was eager to prove himself and make a good impression. Alex had been working at the store for several years and often used his seniority to tell John what to do. John had a strong work ethic and was always willing to go above and beyond his duties to ensure that the store was clean, the animals were well taken care of, and the customers were happy. Alex, on the other hand, only worked hard enough to get by and would often complain about having to clean the animal cages or restock the shelves. Despite Alex's negative attitude and bossy nature, John didn't let it bother him. Instead, he focused on doing his job to the best of his ability and not letting anything distract him. John believed that hard work always pays off, and he always gave it his best effort. And as time passed, his efforts did not go unnoticed. His boss appreciated his work ethic and dedication to his job. One day, his boss offered him a promotion to shift manager. John was thankful for the promotion. However, Alex was surprised and angry that he wasn't given the promotion. He had been working at the store longer than John and couldn't understand why he wasn't chosen for the job. Feeling frustrated, Alex confronted his boss and asked why John had been promoted over him. His boss explained that he had been watching both employees carefully and saw that John had a strong work ethic, was always reliable, and was willing to go above and beyond to ensure things were done correctly. He explained how he noticed that Alex often slacked off and didn't have the same level of dedication. Although he wasn't happy about it, Alex realized why John was given the promotion instead of him. He had been content to do just enough to get by, not realizing that his lack of effort would catch up with him eventually. From that day on, Alex worked hard to improve his work ethic, dedicating himself to his job and taking pride in his work. He stopped passing off his responsibilities, worked harder than ever before, and went above and beyond to ensure customers were satisfied. He finally realized that hard work and dedication were essential to success and vowed never to become complacent again. The moral of this story is that having strong work ethic is crucial to success. While it may be tempting to take shortcuts and complain about tasks, in the end, it's hard work and dedication that will pay off. No matter how long someone has been doing a job, it is never too late to start putting in more effort and showing more dedication. Success is not based on seniority or tenure. It's achieved on merit and hard work. Mark was a successful executive that had it all: a successful career, a luxury car, and a beautiful home. However, things quickly fell apart when he lost his job due to corporate downsizing. Without a source of income, Mark soon found himself struggling to make ends meet. He used up all of his savings, and when he couldn't afford rent, he was forced to leave his home and live on the streets. At first, Mark was ashamed and embarrassed to be homeless. He was used to living a comfortable life, and the idea of begging for money and sleeping on the streets was humiliating. But as time went on, he realized he had no choice. He saw that there were many others in similar situations to his. Mark hadn't ever given it much thought before. He just thought that homeless people were dirty and lazy. One day, while he was wandering the streets looking for food, Mark stumbled upon a homeless shelter. It was a rundown building, but it offered a hot meal and a warm bed, so he decided to stay the night. He was thankful for their generosity and felt like he should give back, so he asked if he could volunteer at the shelter. He helped prepare meals, clean up, and even talk to other homeless people, offering them words of encouragement and support. As Mark continued to volunteer, he found that he had a talent for helping others. He enjoyed listening to their stories and providing them with a sense of hope. He realized that although he had lost everything, he still had something to offer. Over time, Mark's positive attitude and willingness to help others caught the attention of the shelter's staff. They offered him a part-time job, and Mark jumped at the opportunity. He continued to volunteer, but now he was able to earn a small income as well. As he worked at the shelter, Mark began to gain confidence and a sense of purpose. He realized that helping others was his true calling, and he was determined to make a difference in the lives of others. One day, while he was out on a walk, Mark came across a woman who had fallen and injured herself. He immediately rushed to her side to help her. The woman was so grateful for his kindness that when she learned that Mark was homeless, she offered him a job at her company. Mark gladly accepted the job offer, and soon he was able to get back on his feet. He moved out of the shelter and into his own apartment, but he continued to volunteer in his free time. As time went on, Mark worked his way up the company ladder and eventually became a manager. But he never forgot his experiences as a homeless person, and he used his position to help others who were struggling. He donated money to the shelter and volunteered his time whenever he could. Mark had gone from being homeless to being a true hero, not only for himself, but for the countless others he helped along the way. His journey is a testament to the power of compassion and the importance of never giving up, no matter how tough the situation may seem. The moral of this story is that no matter how difficult life may seem, there is always a way to turn it around. Even when facing seemingly insurmountable challenges like homelessness, with determination, perseverance, and the willingness to help others, it is possible to not only overcome those challenges, but also emerge as a hero. By giving back to others, we can find a sense of purpose and fulfillment that can help build a better future, not just for ourselves, but for those around us as well. Mrs. Johnson was a teacher that taught at a school in a low-income neighborhood. Many of her students faced challenges both in the classroom and at home. She knew that many of her students struggled with reading, writing, and math, but she refused to give up on them. She believed that every student had the potential to succeed, regardless of their background or abilities. One day, Mrs. Johnson was assigned a new student, a boy named James who had a reputation of being a troublemaker. James had been suspended multiple times, and many other teachers had given up on him. But Mrs. Johnson refused to believe that James was a lost cause. She recognized that he had a lot of energy and potential, but he just needed a different approach to learning. She spent time getting to know James, showing an interest in him and learning about his interests and his strengths. Mrs. Johnson discovered that he loved music and was a talented guitar player. So she began to incorporate music into her lessons, using rhythm and melody to help James learn new concepts. She also worked with him one-on-one, providing extra support and encouragement. Over time, Mrs. Johnson started to see a change in James. He became more engaged in class, and his grades improved. He even started to help other students when they were struggling. Mrs. Johnson continued to push James, challenging him to reach his full potential. She envisioned a bright future for him, and she refused to let him fall through the cracks. One day, James surprised everyone by bringing his guitar to class. He had written a song about his experience in Mrs. Johnson's class, and he wanted to perform it for the other students. As he played, the other students were amazed at his talent and creativity. Mrs. Johnson watched with pride as James showed off his newfound confidence and love for learning. James eventually graduated from high school with honors. He went on to study music in college and became a successful musician and music teacher. He never forgot the impact that Mrs. Johnson had on his life. She had taught him not only academic skills, but also how to believe in himself and the importance of caring for others. She had been his miracle worker, and he was forever grateful. The moral of the story is that every person has the potential to achieve great things, but it often takes the support and guidance of others to help them reach their full potential. By taking the time to understand others and finding innovative ways to support them, we can make a lasting impact on the lives of those around us. Thank you for watching. For more inspiring stories like this, please like and subscribe.